Hello guys and welcome to the Gears of War 5 EU Pro League show. My name is Tun and I am here with Fru, and every single week during the Pro League we will be joining you live here from London to guide you through all the European team action every single week, as said. And Fru, pleasure to have you. Thank you for joining me. Set looks quite good, I think, actually. I think I like the chilled out vibe we got going on here. We had Toby come along and we got him a couple of little ladders. He started nailing it all together. Little strong Welshman. Anyway, it's looking fantastic. We're very excited for this one. Fru, excited to be here, of course.
Definitely. European Pro League. It's something new for the continent and new for us as well. So, yeah, of course.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of questions to be answered. A few of them going to be answered for you right now, actually, and give you an overview of what's going to be going on here in this Pro League. And let's have a look. 4 teams competing in the weekly Pro League matches. Each team will compete against each other in Pro League teams twice. Every match broadcast live with commentary analysis from me every week, you most of the time, and a couple of other fellas here and there as well. But fourth place team at the end of the quarter must re-qualify. We'll get into that one we need to, but the teams on our right hand side: EU's finest, Obey Alliance, Rdamage, and Rated R, formerly Anoni. Very solid lineup here, actually. I feel, we've talked about it a lot on Changing Gears, our weekly show, which you can check out on our YouTube and podcast. I'm always going to be plugging that. We've talked about this a lot already. EU's finest, they are fully, well and truly cemented on the perch of Europe right now. Above and beyond, everyone expects them to go on to pretty much dominate this. Let's be honest. Looking at these other 3 teams, though, the question is going to be, can they keep up at all? Is there anybody going to be there that can actually cause some problems for EU's finest?
I think there is. I think, for me, the way this is going to go down is whoever can scrape a few maps and few wins here off EU's finest will be that second place team, because I think the rest just match up perfectly against one another, and it is about who can really step up on the day, who can really make that jump up and take down EU's finest.
Is there anybody in particular looking at? I know you're saying that they're closely
Rated R.
Rated R is the ones you're looking at.
Out of all the teams, they're the one that I've looked at and I've thought they have the most potential for me. They beat EU's finest in a best of 3 already, so we know they can do it, and also they're just generally very, very strong. They've won a couple of tournaments, so have EU's finest. Like, for me, they're the closest to. Okay, so Obey obviously qualifying in the very final week. They beat Rdamage to qualify. Rdamage obviously had to go through the ladder qualifier on Sunday, and that would have been hard for them to take, you feel, but it does show how close these teams are. I mean, Rdamage were very, very close to qualifying automatically, then having to go through that ladder period. Do you think that puts them at any disadvantage, or do you think they'll say, you know what, we got here eventually? I think between those 2 teams, between Obey and Rdamage, it's very close. They've only played once so far, so it's very difficult to get an idea of who really is the better team out of the 2. Obey did take it in the one time they did match up, but I mean, we're going to see him again today, right? And we're going to see him again later down in this Pro League, and it's difficult. It really is difficult. I think Obey, at the moment, at the time they beat Rdamage, were the better team. Yeah. Rdamage, they've changed up their roster a little bit. They brought in a Spanish god in Cougars, and they look scary, to be fair. They look very, very good in that last chance qualifier. So, to be seen, really. Let's see these new rosters match up.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be the exciting thing, that this thing will develop as time goes on. Everyone starts getting used to each other a little bit more. Yes, there is scrims that you would have played against each other, but this is competitive play. If you were saving anything, this is sort of in and around where you want to try and bring out something different to the fray, of course, but we'll see how these teams do match up against each other. But I think this is really good practice for some of these other few teams to go up against EU's finest. But let's have a look at the pick and bans for match number 1 that we are going to see between Rdamage and Obey Alliance. Anything in particular standing out to you here, Alex?
Interesting that Obey have banned Bunker. I thought they had a very, very good showing against EU's finest. They're the only other team to actually beat them in one of these qualification tournaments, and they did so on Bunker. It was a best of 1, so we can't read too much into it, but they look strong, and they had a playstyle that I haven't seen much of on Bunker before. They dropped the torque bow up on the high side, really, and they just used that to great advantage. Got those early picks and forced rounds onto EU's finest. They slowed everything down, and so it's surprising that I could see that banned there. Otherwise, no real surprise here. Rdamage picking Asylum. They won that in the last chance qualifier to qualify. And Exhibit's just an interesting map all around, so I'm excited to see that one.
Yeah, okay, just to run through the other ones. Iceman banned by Rdamage, Obey Alliance banned in District. Vasgar being taken away by Rdamage, Obey Alliance getting rid of Bunker, as said. So we are going to be playing Exhibit, Asylum, and Training Grounds. I think, as you said, it was a surprise maybe to see Bunker go. Exhibit is an interesting one for me. I know it's one that has been contested in the community from time to time. I like it. I don't know if it's just maybe me, like being one of these guys who coming into the fray a little bit later and sort of said,
No.
it's a bit of a mix-up. It's one of those maps that you can be caught off guard on.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it's one of the maps. The great thing about all the maps in this cycle right now is they all play very differently, and every team has their own favourites, which for me is a good thing because pick and bans mean more, I think, in Gears 5 than they did in Gears 4. Gears 4, everyone had their, reclaim their foundation picks that they really like to go to. Gears 5, on the other hand, we got the maps, and each one pretty much bespoke, right? So
yeah,
I like it. I know some teams hate it, but that's good for in my opinion.
Yeah, I know. It's nice to see a bit of a mix-up, but we will see Exhibit Asylum and Training Grounds, as you can see on your screens. This one is technically 3rd v 4th seed in this group, isn't it, when you see these two teams? So our next game, of course, I mean, it doesn't take rocket science to work it out. Of course, it will be the other two teams that are in the league, in EU's Finest and Rated R, of course. But we're going to get in this one very, very shortly. Predictions from you through. I want to delve into it straight away. Week 1, throw you under the bus.
This is it, isn't it?
It would be rude not to, let's be honest.
The double decker's coming in and it's just going to flatten me. I'm going to go Rdamage. I really liked how they played in the last chance qualifier. I do know that Obey have been trying to get some scrims against top North American teams. That's going to be quite interesting to see if that's happened. But honestly, I think Rdamage will come through and take this one. Wouldn't be surprised to see a 2-1.
Okay. I'm gonna channel my inner Toby Campbell and go with Obey Alliance, just because how much he went on about him is ridiculous. And you know what? I trust the little Welshman. I trust him with. I was about to say my life, but that maybe is a little push too far. But Obey Alliance against Rdamage is coming up very, very shortly. Maps wise. I said we're a little bit surprised to see some of these in here, but we are going to be going to Exhibit first. And this is the very first map of the EU Pro League here for Gears 5. Very excited for this one through Rdamage against Obey Alliance. And we are going to be here every single week, whether you're happy about that or not is another thing.
Oh, very, 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 very.
I know you're happy about it. I mean, the guys at home, we've got to put up with our rubbish for the next 6 weeks and then 6 weeks occurring for the rest of the year.
Maybe you can trade me out for a couple of weeks here.
I'll see what I can do. Pull a few strings.
Yeah.
But we are going to be loading this game very, very shortly, as we can see. The guys are now loading up. I think for me, you look at the side of Rdamage. Cougar's coming in a little bit late. Are we concerned about that? Some teams practice issues.
I mean, maybe a little bit. I mean, Cougar's he's one of those players that you can kind of just put in any role and he'll fulfill it. He performs extremely well in that slaying capacity. He's replaced Chris N in this roster, and honestly, I think it's such a trade up. No offense to previous players here, but Cougar's is top of the game in Europe. And having him on this roster in this Pro League, so it's fantastic, really, for Rdamage, and hopefully they will be able to come through and prove that out.
Well, here we go into map number 1. We are going to be playing Exhibit. It is Rdamage against Obey Alliance, and straight to the middle of the map we go, of course. If you guys have not watched Escalation before, 3 capture points on the map. You get a point every single time you have one of these captured, every single second, so it ticks up very, very quickly. And you'll be able to see very easily on your screen who's in the lead, who's going to win first. Very, very handily displayed to us now. So we're not having to do the mathematics this year, but either or, the first initial kills are actually going to go over towards Obey Alliance. They're going to clear it out, and they will be able to get a hold of B here as well. They made a good break over towards A. That is going to be a domination right off the rip for Obey Alliance. Not quite. The deny does come in, but not quite in time.
Yeah, it was a solid slaying round. That's one of the things that's new to Escalation 2.0, is those respawns are actually greater in the early stages this time around. So as the game goes on, those rounds get a little bit longer, and teams get more chance to make that decision. Do they want to respawn in? Do they want to just say, okay, this round's done? In that scenario there, they respawned. They're going to get a life back at the end of the round anyway. Why not try and break that triple cap? But yeah, solid play from Obey. They took that fight down in bottom mid, and no surprise here. The flashbangs are going to come out and support that fight a little bit here, as they're going to go into the second round nice and early. Still though, looks good for Obey.
Yep, good start from them as we now move into round number 2. And it just seemed to be that initial break that we've talked about time and time again. Comes down to that, but as I said, the smokes are now placed, and here comes the fight down low. Shot's going to come through. Strikers is just going to have to back up with Zorkos here as well, though. Deadly duo in and around these corridors. And it really is about the initial fight, but the Lancer Fire coming down onto Saki. He's just about going to get out of there. Demonic there. Can he find the second kill? Yes, he can. Really good work by Obey once again. And they just seem to have Rdamage's number here down low.
They do as well. They're finding that opening pick every single time. They're managing to group up afterwards, so no one is getting caught out in that 1v1. And they're just laying out down there. It's good to see. They're doing it correctly. They're not taking any risky plays, but they're making the calculated good plays. We see now Cougars. Let's jump over that away, see if we can find some action. It looks like the next attempt here is going to be the A hill. Demonic just waiting around the corner a little bit. Saki with a little bit of support fire is going to get down on Cougars. Cougars going to fall. Rita does manage to get himself a down. Is he going to be able to back up? I'm not too sure. Saki in a bit of a bad situation here. Does get one. Looking for two. Doesn't get the second one. Cougars shuts him down. And it's Cog now looking to dominate. Yeah, see if they can.
Looks like Rdamage are just about going to try and get it in there. They may end up doing it anyway. Cougars eventually closes this one out. And that round swung pretty quickly. And that's the thing with escalation. It can change in a second. It can come down. You know, we see the first initial kills come in from Obey Alliance there. They're set up nicely. They're looking for the push. Suddenly, you lose a few gunfights and you surrender all map control. And I think especially on Exhibit, it can happen quickly because the point is it's not a very big map, let's be honest, and you really can transfer yourself across the map fairly quickly. So there you go. Rdamage will tie things up one apiece after what seemed like a very, very solid start for Obey Alliance. And here come the weapon placements. We are going to see a Moxer, a very much a... I don't want to say controversial, but I think controversial is probably the right word, actually. Weapon so far in this community, the Moxer, has been very, very powerful so far in this year. Let's see how it is in the hands of Obey Alliance. They're going to have their first hands on this one in the EU Pro League, but we are with Demonic down outside in the aquarium side of the museum. Just going to try and make the push through, but he is going to get pushed by two. Going to have to back up or do something special. Strikers will take him down. Is he going to find a second as well? The melee comes in, then the shutdown from Saki. He's got a big job to do here, though. The rest of his team have lost their gunfights. He's going to just have to try and still and play his life here.
That he is. He has managed to do just that. He's just holding on for now. Doesn't really want to run into that three-man stack of Rdamage. And he's done right, just waiting for his team to respawn. We saw the last two rounds, they were very quickly turned into dominations, and that's because that last member did go in, did try and find that 1v3 fight. This time, Obey, they've realized that that wasn't the best of ideas. They're going to wait for their team to come back out and just hold on that one cap for now. Just wait for their team members to come off spawn. And here they go again. Saki, he's going to get backed up by Demonic and TJ. And they're making their push down towards the Shark Alley. And
it's come from the back of a flash grenade play that did push them back a little bit here. Rdamage, and they are going to lose Cougars because of that as well. Strikers will have to back on up. Three members here of Obey Alliance making the push on through, but they maybe just want to wrap back to mid. They try to do that. They lose the gunfights. Rdamage holding it down here, and as you can see at the top of your screen, they're going to dominate in 5 seconds, and if they don't, they'll probably win it anyway. They're in a dominating position here, and if you are Rdamage, you're in a great spot to win this round. But TJ has managed to break on through, might just deny the inevitable here for Rdamage, who are now going to dominate unless the kill can come in here from Warrior Guns and Physics. Not going to happen, and it is eventually, third time's the charm, going to go over towards Rdamage.
That's it. There's such quick rotations between these hills, especially on the first half. You can get between those central hills and those those home hills, sorry, very, very quickly. And you saw there, Regal, Rdamage. I'm getting back. I'm getting well back. Rdamage. They managed to just clean up those fights time after time, and they just rotated between the hills very, very smoothly there, picking up another round as well. It has been very close, that third round, though. I was interested to see how close it actually was, and I did like that Obey didn't really push that fight as much as they did in the previous rounds.
So weapon placement's coming in once again. It's going to be a drop shot on the side of Rdamage, and Obey Alliance now have a Moxer to play with, and of course a flashbang. And we've seen those flashbangs utilised quite well for Rdamage last time round, and you know, that's again another controversial weapon that has been in Gears 5 so far, but used to the best of its ability there, you feel, from Rdamage. The flash comes through, they make the push, they find the kills. Let's go into these initials once again. It seems as if it's Obey Alliance. First one's over down towards B. Strikers does actually have company behind him as well, but is going to come into the middle here to try and help the rest of his teammate, trying to get around if he can here. The Nasha in hand is so deadly, and Strikers can't quite find the kill, though it is going to be Saki who finds one, does get traded out. That's an absolutely horrible drop shot from Physics. Can he redeem himself, though? Does find one. Looking for the rest here of Obey Alliance, but that might have just shut this round down completely for Rdamage. Obey Alliance get handed an absolute gift here.
Yeah, I was looking at that drop shot coming in, and I was thinking, oh, this is going to be great. Double kill here. And then, of course, it
was a double kill.
It was for the wrong team, though. Rdamage taking out a couple of their own members there. And that's the difficulty when fighting in such a small space like this. One misplaced shot, one misplaced drop shot in this case. Travesty for the team. And we see now Obey, they're going to be able to hold a little bit of control down here. But it looks like Zorkos has managed to get in. Just behind Breaker, essentially. There was nothing really stopping them.
Yeah, that feels like maybe a little bit of a misplay by Obey. It seems as if they just sort of slipped on through a little bit too easily, and they really did actually have the numbers, Obey, as well, due to that. I want to say insane drop shot play, but maybe insane for the wrong reasons. Either way, Break It trying to put Lance of Fire into Cougars here is just dipping and diving in and around this B site. Should be able to get a hold of the hill here. The push is probably going to come in a second, but the rest of Obey just trying to set up. TJ is going to get pushed by 2 members of Rdamage here, though. The shot's going to come through. Not going to be quite good enough to take down one, but eventually they are going to be able to clean it up. Cougars, Read Again, and Physics all combining well through this left-hand side. 2 points to them now. They will win in 57 seconds, but have to be careful. They do lose Physics, so 4v5 momentarily.
Breaker just getting the kill there. I did like the fight in the rocks area just there. You saw Obey. They managed to get down. If I was in that situation again, maybe after getting that down, roll back, get out, reset. You had your teammate, and then maybe you can keep getting that down with the Lancer support there, or even clean up the kill a little bit easier. But we are going to have another fight here. It does like Obey. They're going to push in. Cougars does fall as well. The second Markser is picked up. Physics has got it down over on the right-hand side of the screen here. You see Saki. He does fall. Breaker trying to get a second one, but Physics got a support, and he also just get the kill as well. Another third member from Obey is going to test him, but Striker's now on the chase. We'll follow him around. Let's see what happens. He's looking for that back K. TJ goes for the knife. Misses the knife as well. So things are going to reset a little bit. Lots of back and forth here, and so many people down. Bit of a crawl party on the floor there. Both teams getting damage down.
It does seem as if Obey are the ones that are going to come out on top, though, inside of B, but they do need to make this push over towards C. Rdamage have just totaled up a far too high of a lead for them to capture on a 2-cap here. If you are Obey, the Monarch trying to get something done, but look at the Lance of Fire. Rdamage are going to do well to lose this round now, but can Obey get something going? Here comes the push. He's going to find Cougars. Not quite. He slides around just in time. Looking for the second as well. They're hunting them down. This should be a round over towards Rdamage, and it will be 3-1 now. A little bit squeaky towards the end. A few kills going in Obey Alliance's favour down low, but ultimately just too little too late. Rdamage do eventually get this one done.
I think
nice camera driving though, mate. I like that in and around. I felt like I was on a little museum tour. You were just guiding me around. Yeah,
I've been practicing that one. We're just with the bots though.
Yeah, 20 minutes ago.
It's way easier to follow those. I think that just go back to the round. Camera driving aside, I think that all stemmed from that little misplay there by Obey. Just letting Rdamage come in, sneak in, and grab that hill from behind them. They had the kills, they had the setup, and they just misplaced themselves essentially. Let's have a look what's down on the map. We have got a boom shot on one side, a drop shot on the other, so things getting a little bit more explosive now on Exhibit as we go in for this 5th round. See what we can find.
Well, Physics, he has been given the drop shot once again. Not quite sure about that decision, but let's see how it plays out. From Strikers is going to find one, is going to get taken down. The trade comes through, and as does the revive. They should now be able to grab a hold of B here a bit.
Just trying to see what they're doing. With regards to Physics, looks like he's just going to back off for now. Does go down. Revive's going to come in. You see the Lancers, they're still trying to pepper for those downs, because if they do connect now, they will get the kill. That's a change as well. Escalation 1.0 to 2.0, you can get those kills from afar. People aren't going to tap back up. And it's way easier to pick up the kills when you get those down. So Crossfire is essential. Cougar's now looking. See what he can do. Just keeping Demonic's head down, just in time for the old drop shot to come in. Much better drop shot this time.
Significantly better as he does find the kill, and that might actually be the catalyst for them getting inside of B now. Saki in a position to shut this one down. Does he see Cougars? No, he does not. Just sees the end of his gun as it goes into his face, takes him down. Cougars now with a little bit of support here as well, but big gunfight. Going to go over towards this side of the map, down low. Cougars finds another. Is he going to make it the 3rd in a row, trying to get away? Fantastic movement from Cougars. Is he going to be able to find the kill? Not quite. Warrior Guns is just about going to get away. Cougars now just trying to stay alive. The Swarm are in the position, though. Obey Alliance are at the advantage right now, and Cougars continues his tear. And this is a big reason as to why Rdamage picked him up. Such an enigmatic player on his day. Finds the kills and breaks them wide open here.
And he's just forcing everything. Look at this guy. He's one of those players where if he's on a good day, you want him on your team all the time. But if he's on a bad day, he can really give up some lives and can really make some mistakes, because he gets himself in situations that usually his raw skill pulls him out of.
Big fight coming up, yeah. There's absolutely everybody down low, and Zokos is actually going to find 2. Physics finds 1, and this may well be a cog round off the back of that one. A few kills going in their favour. 3 members down. Be interesting to see if they do choose to come back in. It does seem as if they're going to. 50 seconds left to play for the cog side. If you're Rdamage, you're in a good position. Physics finds 1, finds a second as well. with the pistol. Great work by him. TJ's going to go down. You feel as if this is a cog round. It'd be surprising to see too many respawns come back through as they do start to whittle down here for him. That's a decision you've got to make if you're Obey Alliance.
It is. You can see how much of this gameplay has centered around that central hill. Not many teams utilize the bridge, to flank round and grab the other home hill. It's just such a long route. That said, though, we do have a little bit of an offense here as Warrior Guns. He's trying to make his way around. Gets very, very red. Zorkos has managed to pick up a drop shot elsewhere on the map as things continue. Downs on both teams as we have a look at this boom shot. Doesn't look like anyone is going to be able to get all the hills. I mean, there is a little bit of a push going on the A hill from the top, like I was mentioning, but Physics cleaning up isn't going to matter because he has all the control in the world.
And that's when you're Obey Alliance, you have to make the decision about spawns. A couple of them coming back in, wasting one of those respawns as well. For me, I mean, it's easy for us to say, we can sort of see the setup, etc. But you look at the score, you look at what you have to break, and you look at the time that you have to do it in. Not really enough time to really do much if you're Obey Alliance. Another round over towards Rdamage, who are really grabbing a hold of this one quite easily now.
I think on that point, though, if we have a look at the scoreboard, let's bring it up for a second. We can see that most players are still hovering, 2+, 3+ lives there. We are going to get a reset in a round's time.
Oh, okay.
So there is, there's the question of, well, we can try, right? And we'll go back up to 5 anyway. Whether or not it was going to be fruitful or not is another question, but I think it's always worth it to try at this point in the game because those early rounds were so quick that no lives really have been used. The longer games, the closer maps, the closer rounds, sorry, that's when it gets a little bit dicey on the life front.
Let's see what Physics is doing right or wrong here with the drop shot. As the first initials do come through, Cougars making a big push down that right-hand side is going to get taken down, so we're going to see something from Physics with the drop shot here, although he will just indeed drop back to make sure the domination's not going to come through. Up top here, with his teammate, Demonic is there to try and spoil the party, but shot's going to go through, might just bait them into it, but Physics having to back on down. Drop shot in hand, he is going to be influential in this round, you feel. But this time around, it is going to be Obey with the initial control. Zorkos and Kolo trying to get a push coming in here. Cougars set up in front. They're just waiting for that push, and I think it's going to probably come off the back of a drop shot, but here goes Cougars. Is he thinking about making the push, just backing them off. There comes the shot grenade. That's now gone if you're on the side of Obey Alliance. Drop shot about to come through, should find one, does so as well. Saki going to go down. Now Cougars inside the point. It's a good round out of Rdamage once again. They got pinned back, but showing that they have the metal to break through as well. It's not just about the initials for them. They can break back if they need to, but Obey Alliance really haven't lost many. It is currently a 5v4 in their favour as Strikers has gone down for Rdamage, but still, the important thing is that B belongs to Rdamage, as does C. They're in control at the moment here, Fruit. But the lead's still with Obey Alliance momentarily.
Yep, they have that lead. Not a big lead by all means, but and especially if Bray can get this hill, it won't be any lead whatsoever. There was a little bit of a flank coming in. You can see upstairs, just there. There is a sneaky member of Obey, just trying to make their way around to try and get hold of C. Breaker, he's going to be in a world of pain in just a second. Actually, he's not. Striker's misplaying that entirely, as he just didn't get enough damage down. And Obey now, this is power play for them. They've got a member down. They've got control of this mid ring. You can see they're set up all around, and they have complete control. It's very difficult for Rdamage to play into this. They need to push off this back pillar, off this back corridor. Sorry. Once they can get that control, then they can start to push through and maybe get a bit of control in B.
Just a note, Strikers out of life. Saki is a death away, and he will be out. So it's a 4v5 for Rdamage here. They might just choke it in. You feel as if they don't get something going here, they probably won't choose to respawn back in, but Zorkos trying to get something going for his team here as they will capture B. As far as I'm aware, that should actually give them enough time to win this one if they can. Although Swarm in control of it should just have enough for it by the looks of things now. They need to push here if you are Rdamage, but look, it doesn't seem as if Regal Strikers obviously can't come back in. It's a hard position to be in here. It's a 4v5 essentially, but Saki has went down, so 4v4, but Swarm still in control. It is going to be Obey Alliance in the middle of the map. They're going to walk away with this round outside of a miracle for Rdamage as Zorkos tries to make the push through, but the boom shot is there, and that will secure that round. Obey Alliance stop the bleeding somewhat after 4 rounds in a row over towards Rdamage. 4-2 now.
Yeah. It is 4-2. I think
it is.
I think that was a much better round from Obey. I like what I saw. Obviously, it didn't help with Strikers losing all his lives in that round.
And it comes down to that one gunfight. I think, if that gunfight comes in their favor, and Strikers wins that, there's 3 other guys pushing for the Marine side. They can easily push through and probably get a hold of B and put themselves in a better spot to go 5-1 up there. But thankfully, if you're Strikers and Saki, their lives have now reset, as said. However, the weapons have not quite yet, and will not, of course. But the points have now changed. They stay in the same place, but they've changed. That's the important thing, is that they've changed.
That is an important point to remember, though. Almost connected on that drop shot there. That was aimed at the boom shot as well, so could have been an interesting kill if he did get it. You see now TJ aiming up, doesn't manage to get it, just skims straight past Zorkos's head. Very, very close. Needed to pull it back a little bit. I feel like it's got a little bit more of an arc on it, the boom shot, this time around. So players, they are missing a few of these shots a bit extra, and it does also seems to do a little bit less damage as well. We've seen a lot of players asking where the damage has gone from that boom shot, but
it's all been transferred to the marker.
That's it, isn't it? It's all in the marker. You gotta go with the weapons that do the damage. And in this game, it is the marker at the moment. The drop shot as well. Very, very common placement. We see a lot of teams working up towards.
Here comes that push from Rdamage, though. They are going to manage to get themselves in, really, without doing a lot other than just forcing their way through and rotating. But the kills are actually going to go in the favor of OB Alliance momentarily. I say momentarily, the majority of them go over, actually. And it's going to be Saki put down, but his teammate is there to help him out. They are going to be brought back up now. Zorkos should get flanked here by Breaker. Isn't actually going to need be as the teammate does it down low through the railings. 3 members of Rdamage do go down now, and it will be a good opportunity for OB Alliance to get a good amount of control here. Striker's staying alive up top, doesn't want to give over too much control. And how important do you think this top control is? We've often seen teams send up 1, maybe 2 at times. Do you think it's an important one? It's mostly because of the flank, really.
It depends for me. It really does. If the other team are, holding down that E, you really, you can get a little bit of an angle in the back corridor here, but otherwise it's pretty much useless unless you can get all the way across. And that's why you have both players up here. Neither really gain advantage from being up there, but what they do gain is the knowledge that they can't get flanked from behind. So it essentially just leaves a 4v4 fight downstairs, which is a fair fight. They're not going to get shot in the back. And that's how most teams play it. They just basically leave one resource up the top. They can come back home to the home hill if needs be. And now we got a bit of a 1v1.
Oh, it's a great fight won by Demonic. He will take down Zorkos. And that might just turn this round on its head. E is still captured by Rdamage, though, and I'll be happy to just tick down this clock. They are going to win in 15 seconds. The domination's going to come through. It is going to be Strikers able to break. Demonic, though, knows his team will still win on 2, so maybe just trying to play at the time. It's going to go down. It's good work by Strikers. He might just keep his team in this one. But I say that on the other side of things, Physics is over towards F, towards the Bay home hill. This one could change over very, very quickly. Physics coming in here with a really big gunfight. Breaker is there to try and win it, and does. And may just save his team the round. Swarm will now win this one. But there was a moment there where they could have done it. Yeah, very, very close.
Just 1 extra second on that mid hill as well would have seen that decap. Could very, very easily have gone into Rdamage there, but no, Breaker came in, saved the day. They did have home hill just under control in the end, and well, there we go. We saw another Obey round now. 4-3, a much more comfortable score, I think, for Obey. They'll be in a bit of a better situation now, not down 3 rounds. We are seeing Obey Saki just put down a drop shot on their side, so now they've got the boom shot and drop shot. We see on the opposite side, it's basically reflected, right? We've got the boom shot over down in the spawn area there. Same for Rdamage, same for Obey, and we've got the drop shot in top side.
So plenty to work with, and you feel as if these explosive weapons are better for these close counters, isn't it? It's one of these things where people really do sort of stack up. The marks are great at range, and I say that, the flash grenades just trying to hit Strikers in the head with it. There was Warrior Guns, but he will pack him on up either way. Job completed. Nobody able to quite push through for E just yet. It's going to come down to this initial engagement. Nobody down in this round so far. Looks like it's coming now, and it's going to come out from Breaker. There's the drop shot kill onto Strikers. Physics does answer back with one on the Breaker, though, so once again, nobody able to make this break just yet. It does seem as if OB are trying to get it done. Cougars is going to find 2 with the boom shot in this iteration of the game. Very well done. Cougars taking 2 down there, and that should now be the E hill for Rdamage. Flash out for Cougars as well. He's going to get aggressive. Would you expect anything else? Warrior Guns is heading for the hills, and he's going to head back to the respawn queue. Cougars finds him as well, and he's just going to break open OB Alliance all on his own, trying to cement Rdamage's solid position in this map back once again.
Fantastic play by Cougars there. Really like what he did with that flash. He looked like he was going to go and take that AP and chase down the hill. Warrior read that a little bit, so he tried to make haste back towards the D hill, back towards his home. Well, doesn't matter. Cougars read that as well. Little bit of a fake bounce, take the shot, bang, 2, 3, and you're down. As you said, back to the respawn queue. Really like that play by Cougars and just holding control for his team right now. This is what they need. They just need to hold and grab points. We've seen it. The team with most points has pretty much won every round. Like, obviously, at the end of the day, they will always win the end of the round, but at the halfway point, let's say, the team with the most points has predominantly come out. There hasn't been many upsets.
There hasn't been that many. There's been a couple of close contestants towards the end, but it always has been whoever's leading at the half has went on to win the round.
That's what I wanted to say.
Yeah, I got it right.
Whoever had the most points wins.
I got you, mate. It's fine. Whoever had the most.
Out.
Oh, God. 30 weeks of this, by the way.
Oh, aren't you in for a treat?
Oh, yeah. Warrior Guns trying to stay alive down below. And is still going to be Rdamage in control here. Zokos just trying to get something done around his home hill, and is actually going to be a big fight here if Demonic makes the push. But TJ is going to get the kill down mid, so maybe they're going to have to concentrate some resources down below. Reed again now just trying to make the push through, and he will find the kills, and thankfully the rest of his team does find these kills because the pushes were coming through. Actually, it's still potential here. Someone could win based off what we have so far, but it is going to be a point going over towards the COG side. They're going to eliminate, actually. No point in spawning back in if you are obeying. That's the thing. You can make that choice. You can say to yourselves, look, we're not in a good position this round. Is there any point in spawning back in? We don't want to waste too many respawns. And maybe we just don't want to waste our time. At the same time, we think to ourselves, maybe this is an impossible round to win. In that case, Obey thought that indeed Rdamage will take this one. 2 points away here, Fruit.
Yep, expect the drop shots or the boom shots to get their respawn time halved. Most teams have been going down this route. Obviously, having that basically double ammunition is what it is over the course of the same amount of time. Very, very useful, and especially with players coming in off these quicker respawns, you can get that drop shot back off spawn, back into that fight very, very quickly. It's on the way. Let's have a look what Physics can do. He's been playing very well. I've liked what I've seen from him so far.
Apart from the double kill on your teammate with the drop shot,
you can still play well without the with the mistakes as well. I mean, he might pick up another one here. Why did I say this?
No,
he's actually saved his teammate. See?
The strikers was down. You see, I should have listened to you. I should have listened to you. Either way, Physics is now going to be able to make the push off on towards E. Cougars is going to find one onto TJ as well with the boom shot. And ultimately, I think, a lot of this comes down to Rdamage maybe just using their power weapons a little bit better as well. There has been other positives from them, don't get me wrong. They're playing it very well. I've loved their rotations. Their defensive work's been fantastic. Cougars has been sensational at times. But really, that's where the difference is laid for me mostly. The flash is going to come through. Cougars is going to get pushed out. He should actually be dead here if he can't get away. It's just about going to be able to get away. The flash back in return as well. Going to help his teammates stay alive and just stem the flow of OB Alliance players pushing through. But either way, the specialist weapon usage has been a lot better coming out from Rdamage. But here come OB. They are going to be able to make this push through. Strikers and Cougars just running through the middle of the map together, trying to get something done here, and it's just leaving a path of dead OB Alliance players as they keep it on going.
Well, they've done that though. They've lost the E hill. Breaker's snuck in behind them, so let's see if they can get it back. I mean, that's the idea, right? They take out a few of these members, and then they come back and they get the points afterwards. Got a bit of a fight going on here.
Oh, yeah.
Strikers does win it though. Does have a bit of support, and a bit of support is 2 people, so quite a lot of support.
Well, they are going to get a hold of E here. Although the drop shot comes through. No, they're not. Zokos is now down. Warrior Guns showing what he can do with a drop shot on the side. OB Alliance expecting the push to come out here. Doesn't need to, though. If you're Rdamage, you don't have to be the ones initiating these gunfights. It really does have to go down to OB Alliance. But Reed again, once again, finds 2. Is going to shut down Saki as well.
Hasn't seen the player behind him,
He hasn't seen him. What does it matter? Yes, it does. And it's actually going to be TJ to come through, find the kill. Is he going to be able to find a second? Gets Zokos 2. Could this be the catalyst for OB Alliance? They can still go on to win this round. 30 seconds, though, is all that Rdamage have to hold on. Didn't see Zokos behind him, though. Snuck up on him through the bottom side of the museum here. Can he now shut down this push coming in for OB Alliance? They should be able to get a big gunfight going on here. Zokos trying to break where he can. Will find the kill as well. Surely Saki takes him down. He does indeed as well. Very, very scary there for Saki. Just a second to go. They're not going to be able to capture it. Yes, they are actually. They will get a hold of it, but you think they have to make the push, and that's what Warrior Guns is trying to do now. If he can win this gunfight, he'll do very, very well. Isn't going to be able to win anything then. Will get shut down. Cog team in control. Boom shot in hand for Cougars. Looking good to put themselves to map point here.
Very, very close to getting that break. He just misrolled right at the end. Big double kill coming in from TJ. He's going to get returned, though, in the form of Cougars' boom. And yeah, Cog eliminated in the end, but was very close. And as you said, there has been some close calls. I think that was another one. If that flashbang, that kill, it had just gone a little bit better there for Obey. You know, we could be looking at a 5-4 game here, but no, Rdamage, they do manage to just hold their ground, and that is something Rdamage have been very good at over the years. I mean, you know, this is not a new team to Gears 5. This is a storied team, a history team. They are super composed, and they have always been super composed, and they don't usually fluster in rounds like that where they are up against it and the other team are giving it their all. They're pretty good at just shutting things down. So good to see that the same is still said here on Gears 5.
That experience paying off. And what they're doing here in escalation.
Half down on the other two power weapons now, so 75 seconds on each iteration of the weapon. It's just going to be explosions galore.
Let's see. Can Obey Alliance bring this one back? Last night on the initial broadcast in America, we've seen a fantastic game between God Gaming and Mesa. A couple of those maps really going down to the wire. And we feel as if in Europe we're going to continue to have that. The SEU's finest will undoubtedly be the favourites yet to take the whole thing. But they could be contested. And the other three teams below them, who is the best? We just really don't know the answer to that question just yet. We will probably find out by the end of this, though.
Hopefully.
That's the idea.
We don't want draws all the way through.
No, we don't. No, we don't. But either way, Rdamage in a solid position here. Can they close out here on Exhibit? It's a slow push from Rdamage. They don't want to take any risks. They don't need to. Obey Alliance, I said, they're the ones that need the rounds more than anything. They can't make any mistakes here. I say that they haven't made a push, but of course Zorkos is flying at them as Physics is backing up here with the pistol as well. Does have the drop shot also. He will be the one to make the push onto E, or will he? Actually, he's going to try and help out his teammates. There's actually two of them go down. Regal, Strikers and Cougars both dropping. I don't think Strikers has actually been eliminated yet, and this is going to be the push coming in from Demonic. Not going to be able to do anything there on the home hill, and it is momentarily going to be Rdamage in control. It's a good rotation by them. I like that out of Rdamage for him.
They just used those power weapons early. They managed to get the kill on Breaker. They took out the drop shot without Breaker getting any kills with it at all, and that's kind of how things kicked off there. They just had the better utilization in the end, and they have had, to be honest, since these dual power weapons have been up, they've been very, very good. Saki does miss the boom shot here. This gives a bit of an opening to Physics. Does get one. Diving about. Looking for his second. He's going to chase it.
He's still
down
good
as well. Flashed out. Picks up a third, actually, as Strikers now. Picks up both Warrior Guns and Saki. This may be it for Obey. TJ, he's going to try and get and defend this home hill, but Physics, again, takes him out as well. We see now the D hill. Demonic, he is the only one off spawn. He's going to have a tough time against 4 members if he does this. Fair play to him, he does not though, and that is going to be Rdamage taking the first map of the European Pro League. 7-3 the score.
A solid win for Rdamage in the end, and a really, really good performance out of them in all honesty. Physics coming in with a match MVP. And you know, we slaughtered him after the initial double team kill with the drop shot, of course. But there is your final eliminations as well. What a game out of these two. Fantastic start for Rdamage. Playing that, you know, typical, we expect them not to lose the lead sort of player, but even when they did need to switch it on, they've got Cougars, they've got Strikers, guys who can be very, very aggressive. They got aggressive when they needed to, especially in that final round, and just close it out fairly comfortably in the end. I think if you're looking towards the side of Obey, is there any mistakes you were looking at there that you thought, you know, maybe you could do this a little bit better? There was a couple maybe where they were letting members slip. I know Exhibit's one of those maps where you can maybe lose track of players. There is a few routes that, you know, people can take that you maybe wouldn't expect, and there's a few different directions people can come from. Do you think maybe just the player tracking wasn't there essentially, or do you think they just got outperformed?
Whether it's player tracking, whether it's communication as well. Like, they might know the players are there, but just they're not telling their other teammates. You know, there are a couple of issues that they could be issues, right, if it is an issue. To be honest, I don't think it was horrendous. I just think it was Rdamage taking the initiative. They managed to get those opening fights. They used the power weapons after the initial dilemma with the drop shot. They did use the power weapons extremely well. And they were just opening those kills, getting the picks, and managing to push players like Breaker, who was sat on that overlook, looking down into the mid hill, push them off their perches and killing off these drop shots and these boom shots before they're getting the chance to use them. Obviously, a drop shot against someone dead with a drop shot, you want that situation, right? So I honestly think it was just taking the initiative from Rdamage and just pushing the fights.
Yeah, I think if you're OB Alliance, you look into the next map, as we are actually going to see Asylum and then possibly Training Grounds, as said.
Yeah.
You look into these next couple of maps and you sort of say to yourselves, right, okay, let's make sure we make proper use of our dropped weapons. Make sure we're using them effectively. Asylum's one of those maps where, we may see more of that from them. Hopefully we do see more of that. It's one of those maps where you maybe see the marker a little bit more as well for me.
Yeah.
We didn't see it really utilised very well on Exhibit. Is that something you'd maybe expect a little bit more of Asylum?
On Exhibit, it's just one of those weapons that you go through to level it up, essentially.
Yeah.
It's not something you stick with.
Yeah.
There are other maps like Asylum where you may sit with it a little bit more. From what I've seen of these teams on Asylum so far, it's usually a fight up at that top bridge at the entrance. It usually comes down to shot grenades or drop shots. Shot grenades because they can just cut off the entire route up through the bridge, and if you can get a good shot down, there's potential to hit 2 covers with it and get maybe even 2 downs with it. So that's something that I would expect to come through from at least one of these teams.
Yeah.
Whether or not both of them will match it, it's kind of difficult because they swap basically. One team will take a drop, and then to counter that, you'll take a shot grenade, and likewise, shot grenade will go over, so the team sits further back with the drop shot. So it's one of those. You get it both ways. But whether or not we'll see marks, I don't know. I honestly don't know. I think if we do, it'll be interesting. But most of that fight up top, it's explosives. And grenades.
Do you think the nerfs just maybe shift the marks down a little bit?
I'm not sure, to be honest with you. It's for me too early to say. I have seen less of it, but I would I want to see. I'd answer that question at the end of the Pro League, right? I think
it's not what I should be asking in day number 1.
Yeah, it's a difficult one to answer. I honestly do think the nerf is in the right direction. Let's see what it plays out like.
Let's see how it plays. But anyway, this is what we've already played so far. Exhibit going over 7-3 towards Rdamage, but our next 2 maps, indeed, if we do need to, the way Rdamage are playing so far, though, you're not quite sure. Asylum is coming up next. Training Grounds if we do need it. Do you fancy a Training Grounds, or do you think we're just sticking on Asylum and Exhibit?
From what I saw of Rdamage on Asylum just a couple of days ago, I'm actually thinking maybe not on the Training Grounds front at this moment in time. They look super strong on it. Cougars is just allowed to fly about and slay.
As he does,
but more so on that map because it's a bigger map. The fights are more split, so he can find those 1v1s and really push his advantage in that slaying capacity. And from what we saw in Exhibit, they just look super strong. Rdamage, they just seem to be taking those fights and working well together. I would be surprised, but it's Pro League, right? But all the teams are here. They've qualified. They deserve to be here, and teams can flip on a switch. Maybe Obey go back and they say, oh, okay, that wasn't the greatest, but if they reset, they come back at it. Perhaps we see that Training Grounds as that 3rd map.
Perhaps, indeed. Asylum, obviously, as I said, coming up very, very shortly. I think you're right, though, with the way that Rdamage did play in map number 1, you definitely want to lean towards them. I think it's very easy to lean with the team that are winning the series, of course, but at the same time, I think with the way that they did indeed play that, you do think that they looked fairly solid in all facets, didn't they? When they initially had the break, it was looking okay, but even when they didn't win the break, they would then push on through and sometimes win that recapture, and it just seemed as if they had all the tools available and were using them very, very well. The weapon usage as well with the dropped weapons were very, very strong. They seemed to just have the edge on Obey in that aspect as well. They just seem to be a better team in general. Based off that one map, I know it's a big assumption to make off one Exhibit show, but what we seen there was an accumulation of a few things that led to Rdamage winning it.
Yeah, and I got a question for you. How do you like them with Cougars in? Because that.
I like it because I just like watching Cougars play anyway. Because he runs around like an absolute lunatic, and I'm all for it. I'm absolutely all for it. We can sometimes see potentially in Gears 5 a little bit of slower play because of how strong the Lancer can be. Cougars doesn't care. It doesn't seem to matter when it comes down to Cougars, and he does often get very aggressive. I think Exhibit sort of plays to his strengths where he can get in and around, get
close quarters, right?
Yeah, it is indeed. So I think that's where Cougars sort of it's where he flourishes. But moving on to Asylum, I said it's one of those bigger maps. Does he do as well? But he's allowed a bit more freedom because it's one of those bit more open maps. So it's an interesting one to find out, which we will find out very, very shortly. Looking towards our second game, EU's Finest, their first defense of the European title, if you like. Because let's be honest, they are the kings of Europe.
Lineal, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Does it?
Let's not get into this.
We'll
have Tyson Fury fans on the Twitter. I don't need that.
It goes too deep.
It does go very deep. But either way, it's one of these things where, if you're looking at a Nonny, or now obviously Rated R, of course, they're going in against the EU's Finest. This has to be the scalpel, the one to take, of course. Maybe it's a question too far in week number 1, but is there potential for it, you feel?
I think so. I think if you're going to hit them strong, hit them now. They've not played in a qualifier for a while, and perhaps this is where you get them on the first week.
Perhaps indeed. Well, let's load into map number 2. Rdamage against OB Alliance once again. Rdamage 1-0 up in this series as we do head over towards Asylum. What we thinking then? Are we sticking with Rdamage here, Fru?
Yes. Yeah, I have to. I made the prediction. I said maybe 2-1. After that first map, I don't think it is. I think it's going to be Rdamage 2-0. I think they just looked extremely strong, and it looked like their day today. But a lot of rounds to come, I'm sure, and it's a slightly different fight. So we'll see how they play out. It may be maybe Obey they like this map better. I don't know. We'll see. Potentially.
I'm trying to remember whose pick it was.
It's a good question.
It's a very good question. We'll find that out. We'll find it out shortly. But either way, Rdamage are going to be going into this one with a 1-map lead. And it was actually Rdamage's. This map is Rdamage's pick. Yes, okay. So there you go. So it was actually Obey who did go on to pick map number 1. Rdamage winner. Rdamage now onto their pick of Asylum. You like to think that they probably close this one out. Let's see if they can do though. Map number 2 of the EU Pro League, the inaugural one. We're very excited for it, as you can tell. And in this game, Rdamage looked very, very solid in map number 1. I don't want to say convincing, but comfortable victory on Exhibit. As we head over towards Asylum, though, can Obey Alliance get anything done here? Obey playing in blue, Rdamage in red. Yeah,
we'll find out soon. A little bit of a difference in that opening strat. Obey, they did go and get that home hill first before they came in the fight, which means they left Rdamage open to grab the middle. They did leave a little bit of map control open. Doesn't seem to matter too much yet. I say that as Rdamage are just capping up in the end. A little bit of a misplay on that pistol by TJ does just give Rdamage a little bit of a window to cap you. But here we go. Still, Reader. He's one of the players that's been around for so long, right? He's been at the top of the game pretty much every Gears game we've seen him compete in, and it's great to see him back competing once again under Rdamage as well. They often go back to this name. They switch between different orgs and names, but Rdamage is the one that they've stuck with quite often. Let's see what's going on over at the Sea Hill.
Oh my god,
trains. Quite a lot it seems.
Everybody dead. From Obey Alliance, Rdamage with a fantastic start here in TJ. The last bastion, if you like, for Obey now in a really bad spot. The rest of them spawning up. Is it going to be in time? Cougars pushes through. There's 3 or 4 members of Rdamage around here, and I think if you're... Oh my god, Breaker trying to get things done. Not going to be able to quite do enough, and as you can tell, the rest of Obey not choosing to spawn in after that. But a good effort, actually, in the end by Breaker. But either way, that one does go over towards Rdamage. We continue where we left off.
We do, and I think that just stems to that 5v4 in the first few seconds. It was basically 5v4 in that middle pavilion, just for a little bit of time, just before they could back up, could Obey, and well, you see Rdamage. They just pretty much wolf packed around, got that gallery spawn, gallery hill as well, and it was a nice opening round for them. A very quick opening round as well, actually, very similar to Exhibit. We see the team's opening up very, very quickly and expected to slow down a little bit as spawns start to decrease.
Strikers now trying to get something done with these Lance of Fire in the middle, and Zorkos is choosing to make them push directly through middle. He's going to get taken down. Saki trying to get something done here. He will go down as well. Rdamage just seem to be flowing a little bit now, don't they? They're getting into their stride and punishing Obey every single time. Demonic is going to get there, though. Is he going to be able to find the second as well? Does clean up onto Strikers, and they will get a hold of B. It is going to actually just be Cougars all the way over towards C. He will break that and get the hell out of dodge. Good play out to Cougars there to stop the bleeding, I think, if you are damaged there. You sort of stop the points going over towards Obey nicely.
Yeah, they realised it was 2v2, and they realised that both players from Obey were down on the track, so they had a little window just to go get the break, and it did. It evened up the score a little bit. Obviously, Obey, with the 2 hills, they will start to gain a little bit of an advantage here, but look for Cougars to make this this play across top bridge. He's in this 1v1 situation against Saki. As far as we can see, it doesn't look like there is anyone in support from either team.
Oh, he's going. It's a game of chicken at this moment in time. It's like, do you want to push? Do I want to push? At this moment in time, if you're Obey, you're quite happy to sort of sit back. But I say that, though, Striker seems to be trying to break this on his own. Did so momentarily, actually, with the help of Reader, but he's going to have to back on up. He's going to get chased down, though, and just running for respawn at this point. Can he do something here? Absolutely not. Breaker will find him. This is a good round out of Obey. It's been patient. If anything, you know, they've held back where they've needed to, and Rdamage are yet to make the move, but they still have around 60 seconds to do so. Cougars tries to make this initial push. The Lancer Fire comes in, but it's not quite strong enough. Saki goes down, and could that be the opening break that they do need? If you're Obey here, you know, they're just stacking up mid-map. They can quite easily make a push towards A. But that doesn't seem to be the case right now. They're quite happy to sit back. They won't win it when this now goes over, as Rdamage will take it in 70, but they're going to move as a pack together. They don't want to make any hazardous decisions. They didn't want to have to put all their eggs in one basket here. They've waited on the rest of the team coming on up. We can see Cougars and Strikers, and now Zorkos, and now Physics inside of C. Here comes the flash coming in, though. Is Obey going to make the push through? Yes, they do. Breaker is there with Warrior Guns as well. It's going to come down to this fight. Physics is going to try and find a kill. Can't quite find anything, but Strikers finds 2. Cougars finds 1. That might be the round for Rdamage as they sweep on through. The team fight goes in their favour. And now the rest of the team making the push over towards B. They want the domination. It's a really, really nice team fight out of Rdamage. They're looking to make this 2-0. Okay, Demonic now in a hellishly bad spot, trying to save his life. The beatdown comes through. Fantastic work from Rdamage to take that spot back.
Just scrapping it out in that close quarter fight once again. We saw it on Exhibit. They were winning down low, and they were winning those fights in those hallways. We're seeing it now here on Asylum. Admin was the side of that battleground, but it was an interesting fight. You saw the rotation there from Obey. They made that choice to back up their member off spawn and try and fight for their home hill once again, but in the end, Rdamage, they had a fantastic setup. They had a couple of members up top on the bridge. They managed to shoot down, Lancer down, and get a bit of supporting fire, and then the Slayers in the hill just did the work. You saw Cougars there getting a couple of kills as well. Still firing on all cylinders, and now 2 rounds in, he's already on 8 eliminations.
Really good work out of Rdamage as a whole. In all honesty, it just comes down to what was a fairly clean team fight in the end. It did get a bit scrappy, as you said, but they didn't really lose anything from that, and it just becomes a formality at that point. But here we go, big fight in the middle of the map. Warrior Guns is actually going to find Strikers to put him down, who is eventually going to die as well. Zorkos is already dead, but here comes Physics, and Cougars trying to get it done. It's going to come down to Warrior Guns against Physics. Who's going to win the fight? It's going to be Physics. Cougars takes him down, but will indeed get him back up as Cougars rushes on through. See you later, Warrior Guns. Get your teammate back up. Well done by Cougars, I think.
Yeah, I mean, he confirmed it, right? He got there in the end, managed to get those kills. If you're new to Gears, the symbol at the bottom left, that was a player choosing to throw themselves back into that respawn queue. Because you don't get picked up anymore, you can choose to die a little earlier if you want to get that respawn back earlier as well. So, is a new option, and it comes into play a little bit later on. That was disgusting as well. It comes into play a little bit later on once life's I said more of something you can play with, I suppose. Well,
Cougars did get his teammate up in the middle of the map, but in the end, it didn't actually do much for Rdamage. They did manage to lose B. Reader now trying to get something done up top here, but it does seem as if it is Obey Alliance the ones in control. C in the favour of Rdamage. Physics now trying to get something done, but as we've seen in the previous round, it can come down to one really big push out of Rdamage and the round suddenly over. So we feel as if this is going to happen over towards B. The train's about to come in, which might just spoil the party momentarily. Cougars taking some shots, just trying to find some sort of cover when he's not in the way of a locomotive or of Lancer Fire. The kill's just about going to come in. Strikers cannot get his teammate up in time. They are just about going to survive here. TJ's going to have to get out because he's going to be pushed by Zorkos. Strikers is now going to go down as well, though. This should be around over towards Obey. You feel they've just really had the momentum with them throughout. As soon as they got a hold of B, it's been very, very hard for Rdamage to break it. Speaking of break it, Breaker and TJ are working very, very well in the mid-map. That's going to be around over to Obey. They are not quite going to get on the board yet. They spoiled me there. Cougars is just going to spoil the party momentarily, but there it goes. Obey Alliance now. Do you get on the board? Not quite. They will get on the board at the end of the round. Surely it's going to happen. How many times? They're not respawning back in. Just give them the round. Why do they keep wasting everybody's time? Rdamage, you've lost the round. Just give it to them.
There's no one here. Look, there's absolutely it's empty.
They just did that to make me look like a mug.
I mean, do you want to do it now?
Obey Alliance win the round.
There we go.
God damn it.
There we go. To be fair, it was...
They'd won it.
They had won it.
Yeah.
They had just not on the scoreboard. And you're right. It was right on the last millisecond.
Just messing up my calls, man. I'm trying to get it as they win the round.
Well, that's not going to be in the highlight reel, is it?
No, it isn't. No. It's not going to my show reel. I'll put it that way.
All right, drop shots coming in. So we did see those shocks for a round. Now we're seeing those drop shots for a round. And yeah, it's going to be hell. It is going to be hell as those things start to fly over. Obviously, we are on that 150-second respawn. So it is still a long respawn on that weapon. Only one shot as well in it because it is on that home hill. But expected to do damage.
Cougar's now making a push up top bridge. Breaker having a back on down just momentarily, but as you can tell, the drop shots are in play because things have slowed down just momentarily. Demonic is going to make that push though. Where's your drop shot player? There he is, going to completely waste it if you're a reader though.
Not good.
Not a good drop shot usage at all. Zorkos is going to find the kill though, and just maybe to save Reader's blushes, they are going to find the kill here. Cougars looking for one up top on the break. Going to have to back up, has taken damage. Here comes the drop shot. Cougars will survive it. It will just about get away. So both teams wasting their drop shots here. Cougars still managing to get away. He is going to lose A by the looks of things, but they have decapped C. B is also decapped, so this round really could go either way very, very quickly. Cougars not clearly calling out that guy behind them, and it's actually going to be, I think, in the end, Zorkos to clean it up, and will just about do that. It comes down to that fight. The domination is denied. C is now being captured by Obey. But a really, really good team fight once again from Rdamage, albeit a couple of communication errors, you feel.
I feel like that might be true. I think you might be right. Although, saying that, the score still not horrendous for Obey. They've got a lot of time left on the clock, you know. It's not even 100 points yet for Rdamage, so at least 150 to go just there. We are settling down a little bit, actually, as there is a little bit of a scrap gun in the middle area. Striker's here. He's in a bit of trouble. Saki does get that down, but he's going to get down himself. Let's see if they can get the kills. They do. They get the meat shield. That's going to be middle control now for Obey as they're just starting to push up a little bit. This is a big fight on the cover. If Saki can get this opens up the map. But it looks like Zorkos going to come in. As soon as Saki was under a bit of contention there by Reader, they managed to switch out, get a couple of kills. Zorkos also takes out warrior guns as well. Cougars, the old reliable, managed to get a kill on TJ, so that is going to help Rdamage. The Demonic, he's going to go for the knife again. He's used a lot of the knife recently, and there seems to be quite a lot of usage from it from Obey. Not so much from Rdamage. Breaker looking for a kill, doesn't get it. Strikers picks up that kill as well. Dodges both trains as well at this point in time. So this looks to be a strong round for Rdamage once again. They've held this B control. They've held up top. Now we're going to see Saki. He's going to push. And,
you can dodge a train, you can dodge a Nasher. How's that? The dodgeball references there. I'm sorry, continue.
We can get a quote in the chat, I'm sure. Someone will know what you're on about.
Yeah, hold on. Pause the game. Have you not seen Dodgeball?
No, I have.
I was going to say. God. Where's Elliot? Saki now trying to make the push over towards A. B currently decamp, but game is in the favour of Rdamage, of course. This push needs to be strong from Obey Alliance, though. Breaker is actually going to find Zorkos.
This is big. He just split in the map, right? He saw that there was a fight. The contest was on A. So he tried to get over, get a bit of a decap, and just try and spread the map a little bit. Physics has done the same over at the B hill. If he can get this locked in, he just needs to hold it for 20 more seconds. Gets a big kill there. Just try for the revive. Isn't going to get the revive. In the end, Saki just take out Strikers. The B hill's getting decapped, as is the C hill. This is big from Obey, actually, but it looks like, once again, Rdamage starting to clean up. And they are going to cap in this B hill. A hill is going to get capped up as well. I say that just as Breaker gets a headshot on Reader, but he is down. Swarm will eliminate in the end.
Yeah, that got a little bit touch and go at times, didn't it? I think for Rdamage, they were pretty much in control of it, but a kill here or there if you're Obey Alliance, and you may be looking at a round over towards yourself in a 2-2 scoreline, but in the end, Rdamage will take that one 3-1. So we move into the next round. Smoke grenade now placed, as we expected. Coming on through. Same on the other side of things, of course. Building up to those other weapons.
That they are. They'll probably be used in that opening fight. But you see the drop shot. That's going to be Readers and Demonics once again. So we'll see how they use this. Let's have a jump on board with Demonic himself. Let's see what he does with this drop shot. Looks like he's taking it to backtrain. Reader does get a kill with his. So now it's up to Demonic opening up again. Does miss his second drop shot. This is getting a little bit suspect for me.
Oh, he goes down as well. Not a good play out of Demonic in the end, and it's clean-up time here for Rdamage. Strikers and Co getting things done in and around B. They should be able to make this push over towards A as well. Although I don't think they'll throw all the eggs in one basket quite yet. They will just maybe play this as slow as they need to. But saying that, though, a couple of good kills coming in from B up top. I'm going to give them control of this. Now, if you're Rdamage, you have to back on up. But a good initial fight out of Rdamage.
Yep, that it was. It was indeed. And they get that hill advantage off the back of it. It was just crisp. They got the kill with that drop shot. They didn't die to the opposing drop shot. And in the end, this is how you win games. It's a matter of inches, right? And those inches that were missed on the second drop shot have cost Obey this middle hill. You do see now they are going to contest. So they are down there. Let's have a look, see what we can find. If anything going on, looks like we may have missed the action just on that one. But Obey Breaker, he's going to be running back to spawn. He's getting chased heavily by 3 members of Rdamage, actually, as they look to be decapping that A hill. Did not see Cougars at all. We saw him because we had the X-ray camera on, so we can see through walls like we can see down there. Demonic, see the outline on him, but a little bit more difficult for the players. They don't get that luxury.
No, that would be broken. That would be really quite broken.
Yeah, it would indeed.
Cougar's trying to make this push over towards B. Is Demonic seen him? He slid on by. It might not matter. He actually might win the gunfight anyway. Or will he? Actually, is that you just taking your teammate down there, Cougars? I think you might have actually helped. Either way, he is going to get a hold of B. But it's that rotation. It's that rotation that we see at A and C quite often. Is that, oh, well, we're losing B. We're going to capture your home hill, etc., etc. Yep. So people just rotating around the map. Right now, though, it belongs to Obey Alliance. We can see how they're set up here in mid. They can make a decision where they want to go. Saki is actually just going to be... It's just a free capture. It's just a completely free capture. Cougars...
He can't contest.
He's isolated. Both trains coming in. Has to make a decision on what to do here. Trains come through. Does he decide to make a push? Yes, he does. Saki says thank you very much with that right-hand cover advantage. Easily done. Now, if you Obey Alliance here, you're nicely set up. And as you can see, there's a couple of members. Striker's actually done. 0 and 5 right now. We're not going to be resetting for a couple of rounds as well, so Striker's going to have to keep an eye on that one. Maybe getting a little bit too aggressive. C is in the hands of Rdamage, but they take something special here.
Second map in a row as well. Striker's going down to 0 in this first half.
Getting a little bit too aggressive. Here comes the elimination as Reader was the only one left. Obey now. 3-2 down. And I'll be interested to see the eliminations on the scoreboard here in a second as well.
We could take a look.
We're gonna take a look. That was me prompting you.
I have the control. There you go. So pretty even across the board for both teams. Nothing too stand out. Warrior Guns maybe slacking a little bit there with 13-10. But in general, I wouldn't worry about it too much. Right, the round score is pretty close.
Yep.
You have respawns as well. You see Strikers there on one, Demonic on one. So it's an even game. This it's obviously one round in it, but one round to swing. Could be even at the half, and yeah, neither team should be too worried at this point. So the drop shot's picked up again. Let's see what happened. Incendiaries on both teams this time around, so something a little bit different. Strikers is going to pick those up. What
can Strikers do here? The game has definitely slowed down outside of the first 3 rounds. Strikers now just trying to decide which way to push. 3 members from Obey set up in and around B. Not really a lot of company for Strikers. It's going to come down to a gunfight up top, you feel, as Breaker goes down. Is Saki as well? Yes, he is. Zolkos just breaks Obey wide open. And now the push through towards C will come. And you can imagine Obey are probably going to make the push towards B. Are they going to try to? They're going to be backed on up here. C is going to go here as well, although they are just going to shut down B. Swarm domination is denied as... If you're Obey, you just about hold on. You've kept a hold of B. You've forced them out. Yes, okay, he doesn't get a kill with a drop shot, but Rdamage have to get the hell out of dodge and do so. But with their tails between their legs, you feel, they looked like they were in a really good position there.
Yeah.
But in the end, not able to get much from it.
I mean, the kill on Demonic would have been big if they got that drop shot out, and that's what they were really aiming for. They got a few points out of it, but to shut down the power weapon would have been a bigger goal. In the end as well, though, I don't think Obey really utilized that power weapon as well as they should. They had the numbers advantage. They could have forced Rdamage off that hill without the use of the drop shot. They should have had the drop shot waiting to pick up the double kill as they ran up the stairs there. That, for me, would have been the better play. Either way, though, they do manage to get their home hill back. They didn't lose any casualties. They only lost one drop shot for it. So, not horrendous, but perhaps to be improved as they carry on and go into the second half.
There's been a couple of occasions in this map specifically where Rdamage seem to be at an advantage. They seem to be in a position of power and not able to do anything with it. They are just about going to get a hold of B, but is Breaker going to spoil the party? And yes, he is, as is Warrior Guns, unless Rita can do something special here. He's going to find one onto Breaker. The rest of his team now coming to back on up.
Some nice support there from Rdamage. I like what they did. Rita, he went down twice, so he's got to be very, very careful. If he gets downed again, he gets eliminated. So has to be very, very careful. Going to get the revive on Physics, but putting his health at risk as he does that. Cougars does help him out, though. Managed to get that kill on Warrior Gun. Zorkos also gets it down on Saki. Cougars going to clean that up. Second Incendiaries on the map now. The trains come in just to shut down the action a little bit.
Slows that action down, as you said. Strikers an important fight here. Does actually have his teammate ahead of him. That's going to be Cougars as the push comes through. Now Strikers trying to get this round done, trying to put the pressure on. But if you Rdamage, you're back on up. Smart play out of them. They don't need to take that fight. It comes down to the shotgun fights, which sometimes can be 50-50. You're in a good position in the round. You don't want to throw it away unnecessarily. Breaker and Saki, though, are going to be able to break over towards B. It is going to be Rita there to try and do something with it. There comes the Incend kill. Can Breaker take him down here as well? It'll be a big kill if he does. Humongous defensive work by Rita. Over towards B. Get on the third as well. Fantastic play out of him. He'll lock down B all on his own. And that's an Rdamage round. And that's them 4-2 up now. Great play out of Rita.
That was beautiful. It really was beautiful. Baited out the decap and then got the Incendiary kill. Two nice little 1v1 fights as well. A little bit of a mistake on Obey's side. They maybe should have just waited a second to try and fight that 2v2. 2v1, sorry. But when you don't know he's there and you know he's sneaking around with incendiaries, it's easy to say that from my perspective. I can see everything. And well, Rita, veteran player, and that was veteran plays. Nice little triple kill to end the round there. And that's big for Rdamage, especially at this halfway point. 4-2 up now. They only need 3 more rounds to win. Take home this first series in the Pro League. Obey, they've got a long way to go just yet.
Strikers are going to find a kill to Demonic as Warrior Guns now trades that away with a drop shot kill apiece. Breaker coming in the back up top. Back of beef as the points now do change position. We're now going to move up to 1 up top towards the bridge. And both home hills now further towards the right hand side of the spawn, but there goes the Lancer Fire coming in from Rdamage. Now Breaker left alone. Here comes 3 members of Rdamage to make the push. They just want to break that and have done enough.
That they have. See Rdamage, they're stacking up. The flash grenade comes down. Breaker gets stunned out. Is going to get taken out. Nice headshot there. Striker's picking that one up. Zorkos, he's moved up a little bit. We've got to be careful not to lose his life. They are getting crossed from mid as well. Looks like Cougars is going to sort out that issue. Warrior just moving up. And you see now, Rdamage, they're going to just rotate a little bit here.
Yeah, and it's come down to Cougars winning that fight. Warrior has to do something here against 3. It's not going to be able to do anything, and they will lose E for definite now, but they will actually get D back. It's their closest home hill, of course, and the players after respawn will be able to force Zorkos out. Rita now in a 1v3 once again is going to find one on Demonic, one on the Breaker. Don't give him the one on the Saki as well. He's now got backup, and then suddenly what was a 1v3 is everybody dead from OP Gaming. Fantastic support coming out of Rdamage to help Rita, but he has been so good so far in map number 2. And there's a big reason as to why Rdamage have a lead. 22 eliminations, 11 deaths out of him. Really, really nice play out of Rita.
I don't know what you can see everything that happened there, right? Like he just played his distances perfectly. He baited the slide, managed to get the big one shot. Didn't go in. A lot of players in that 3rd kill situation there would have flown at that 3rd kill and thought, oh, highlight reel clip coming in. But no, he just waited for his team. And you saw him just stood as far back as he could against the wall, let that crossfire come in, cleaned up the kill in the end. And yeah, that's the mark of a very, very good player right there.
Big push coming in out of Obey up top. It's not going to be quite enough to win it. I think if they can capture E, they might have a shot. They'll be close enough. Not quite in time, though. Although, F has been decapped now as well. What the hell has gone on here? If you're Rdamage, you've lost F. The push has come through mid. It's really nice play out of Obey, in all honesty. They've just broken through completely unseen. And it's now going to come down to these gunfights. 4 members of Rdamage in and around F, and they just need to defend this all their own. It's going to come down to this team fight here. Rita should be taken down. We said that before. Saki does find him though. TJ is eventually going to clean that one up. And if you are Obey, you have to make this push work. Strikers finds 2 though. 2 go down. Strikers then gets taken down. He can't dodge trains. But either way, this is looking like a swarm round. It should be a swarm round. Demonic nowhere near to try and get this one done. Will play his life in just about an Rdamage round. 5-2 now.
I mean, it was a good attempt by Obey. You can't deny it.
It was the push through the B side of the map towards trains, and they're just not seen. And suddenly they're on the home hill. If you're on Rdamage, you're like, what on earth is going on here? We got complete control, and the round nearly turned so fast. In the end, they did just about win it, but it got a little bit scary if you're an Rdamage fan there.
It did indeed. And I'm trying to think, if I was in an Obey situation now, what would I look at? How would I try and swing this back round a little bit? And I'm not sure I would have gone for the boom shot myself. You see the boom shots have been placed at the lower side of the map there. I think I'd have maybe gone midline. I think I would have maybe tried to force a fight elsewhere. And I think I would have gone bottom tracks, because this bridge fight is just not working. They're losing it time and time again. It's very, very difficult for Obey to really push across here, and especially with the drop shots in play on that side of the map, it almost becomes a stalemate, right? It's whoever hits that drop shot. Historically, Rdamage have been hitting those drop shots more so than Obey, and don't quote me on that stat, but from what we've seen, it looks to be true. And honestly, I would have just maybe try and get that fight over elsewhere and split the map a little bit. But let's see who is going to be the sacrificial lamb this time. It looks to be Demonic. He's going to be the first one up there. And there you go.
Good lord.
Did get sacrificed, I did tell you.
We'll take it on the chin, boys. The boom shot comes in from Zorkos, not missing that one now. Physics will be able to make the push. Saki, can he do anything? Absolutely not. Gets sacked down. Here comes Physics with the help of his teammates, I wanted to say, as Strikers does take him down.
From that first round.
Yeah, he does. As he does now go down. But in the end, Rita comes through and finds another 2. Is he going to find the 3rd as well? Turns quickly. Demonic's going in there for the break, but not going to be able to quite get it. Really nice out Strikers. And here we go. They're pushing this. Smell blood in the water if you are damaged. But indeed, it might be their own, as 2 kills do go in Obey's favour. And reset this round just momentarily. And if you're Rdamage, you walk away once again. But in control, in the spot to try and defend. Oh, there's one for Rita. Easy enough to clean up. He's been really, for me, the standout player. I don't know if just being on board with him more than anybody, but every single time we seem to go on board with him, he's cleaning everybody. Just give him the 3rd. We've already gassed him up. He makes the push through and gets wiped out. You see, that's where he got greedy. We said about those players.
This is what happens. It gets to their head. They love the highlight reels. They just want to be montages. I honestly think that. They love the triple kills. But to be honest, you're up 50 points. You had some kills already. Why not try and push the advantage? If you get the kill in the end, your team could probably translate that to a round win, even if you do go down in a 1v1. Now, Cougar's in the same situation. Can he get the one shot over the top? Does get that headshot. Looking for his second. Isn't able to get it, but Zorkos is. He managed to pick up TJ. Also gets down Warrior as well. And Saki, the last member alive from Obey. Is he going to get pushed by Rdamage? Looks like he's going to do the pushing. Breaker in backup. Didn't see him just there. This is going to be a bit of a sticky situation here. Saki gets that down. Looking for his second.
Ooh.
Does get 2. Nice. Couple of big one-bombs there as he gets both Physics and Zorkos. 2 shots apiece.
Trying to get a Lancer Fire in across map, but right now, Rdamage. A 1-cap does it for you. Rita now just trying to back up to his home hill. And if you're Rdamage here, you really don't want to have to turtle up, but in the end, you look at this state of the game, and it might be something you have to do now. Rita does find a kill on the Warrior, so that might just slow down the push coming in from Obey.
That's a kill on the boom shot.
And there goes the boom shot, and there goes the drop shot, and it's worked out very nicely in the end for Rdamage, breaking out a horrible spot. That should be it now for Rdamage. They should be going over towards map point. Demonic, oh god, please help me. Strikers takes him down. The eliminations come through. 6-2 now. Rdamage 1 round away from closing this game out.
Series point. Series point here for Rdamage. And they've looked very strong. You can't doubt them. Let's have a look at the scoreboard. 39 eliminations there. I think that's the top for Strikers. Yep, it is indeed. But his team not far behind in Physics, and Cougar's also putting up points. I mean, we've been talking about Rita.
He's the lowest.
he's the lowest by far. However, the kills he has been getting, the eliminations he has been getting, have been on his own, right? He has been over on the other side of the map for the most part, so he's holding those homes down. And well, in the end, those flashy 1v3s, they have been winning rounds for his team as well. So it's not
so
the
much amount of kills; it's the important ones.
It's not the quantity; it's the quality, and his have been quality. They have definitely been quality. Let's have a look on that overhead map. Let's see what the teams are up to. Looks like both drop shots getting just wound down to that 75 seconds now, so they're going to be in the play a little bit more often. Boom shots on both sides as well. Looks like 2 members over at the drop shot, the boom shot, sorry, for Rdamage this time around. It's Zorkos going to be in there. He's just helping his teammate out, I guess.
And I think something that you said before is something that we would have liked to see from a bit, maybe a mid drop. You know, put a weapon down in the middle of the map there, make it a little bit more interesting, give yourself something else to fight for, because when you're putting them on your home hills, it's just even split, isn't it? It's just like, well, they have exactly the same as us. If you put something down the middle, you win that fight, suddenly you're actually an advantage in terms of utility to use. So Breaker now in a big fight here against Zorkos. This will maybe dictate a push from either side. Breaker backs on up. And in that situation, I think he hears a call out from his teammates up top to say, look, we've got a hold of E. They should be able to get a hold of this. They're actually going to push out before they confirm it. Saki's going to find one, can't find the second. Rita finds one, and once again, it's these important kills coming in from Rita. They are going to lose E, but only momentarily. Do not bleed further. Rita going to put the shots in with the Lancer there. They're good enough. Going to try and go for the Cougars. Revive, not going to happen. Warrior Guns just catches him out as the push came through. And Obey just about defend E here, and will take a lead in this round for the first time.
Yeah, that's better from Obey, to be quite honest with you. They had a good fight there. Going back to what we were saying about the mid or the home hill placement for those boom shots, I have heard people bring up an analogy of basketball. You know, do you want a jump ball or do you want possession, right? And you know, 9 times out of 10 people would say possession, but you know, if you're getting pressed hard and you can't get out your own half, all right. Whoa, demonic! Hello, and he picks up a drop shot off the back of that as well. Yeah, and if you can't get out your own half, what does it matter if you've got possession, right? So
well, okay. So the home hills clearly actually did work that time. Yeah. If you are Obey, and there's my point just completely thrown out the window. As is that round for Rdamage. See you later, boys. A 3-man drop shot kill comes up top bridge, and suddenly it's a round over towards Obey. I mean, they were in control. I will give them that. They were in control of that round in a good position. And that just solidified it. Now, is this the start of the comeback potentially? If you're Rdamage, you want to maybe just stop this one in its tracks immediately. But Obey now will take some solace from that one. A big drop shot player comes through, and suddenly you've got an easy enough round.
That's smart from Rdamage. I really like what I'm seeing there. It's it's very easy to just think, okay, we're just going to put that timer down. We're going to drop the timer by half and just keep fighting it out. But Rdamage, you know, they saw that big triple kill come in, and they're like, okay, that might be a problem. Let's block that off. And
let's be honest, we were absolutely slaughtering Breaker's use of the drop shot all game, and then he gets that, and suddenly it develops into a round. So that just really shows that the weapon placement on this game is so important. Is the drop shot going to come through here for Strikers? As Breaker does go down.
That was nice. Let's touch on that very quickly. He used the flash grenade to block the visual of the drop shot so they couldn't see it coming. So that's what he was doing there. Real nice play.
Very smart indeed. Zorkos is going to actually find Demonic as Rdamage do wants it back with a play of their own. Saki is actually going to win a gunfight over towards the home hills, and they will defend that. And I think Rdamage have always had Zorkos just sort of roaming in and around that B cap area, around the tracks, just trying to get something done. Here goes Strikers, speaking of trying to get something done. Finds one, finds two. Can he find the third? Not quite. Breaker has to back on down though, does have the help of his teammates, but if you are Rdamage here, you're trying to get a little bit aggressive, because why wouldn't you? TJ is dropped. He will be recovered momentarily. Oh no, he will not, as Physics just runs through 2 players, and now here comes the push for the home hill. Is this the end of the map now? Is Rdamage trying to set up camp? Even if they don't make the push, you can just strangulate Obey inside their spawn here. It's going to be a hard push for them here. Striker's now going to get a hold of the drop shot. They have just got them absolutely strangulated. Obey have to make a big push through. Zorkos is actually running away with the tail between his legs, if you like, but Warrior Guns is the first one in there. Breaker finds Zorkos in the end after TJ drops him. Obey have to make this push, and they have to make it work. The drop shot comes through. Is going to find one. Strikers, though, can he do anything to try and shut down this push? Saki finds one, as does Breaker. And from what looked like inevitable map point going over towards Rdamage, It looks as if Obey are just about going to survive. Not if Brigger's got something to say about it, though, as he does take down his teammate. But another big gunfight going on here as Physics is going to go down. That is now going to go over to advantage, still with Rdamage, but only just slightly. It takes one decent break here if you're Obey and you're in this round.
Oh, trains.
You have to get over.
Yeah, it's interesting by Warrior just to take this middle fight. I don't know. He's not really gaining anything from there. Just keeping visuals. I mean, he is going to try and push up, and it does mean that he's going to be, basically putting himself in open fire for everyone from Rdamage who can see down this path to get the kill. That said, though, had to try and make the play. Swarm now, 25 seconds before they do take the first series, of this European Pro League. Strikers managed to get another couple of kills. You see them, they're running over here. Now F is going to get decapped. Looks like a self-kill. Warriors left the game, so it looks like they're conceding at this point. And it looks like Rdamage, they are going to win this series. They are going to take the second map, 7-3 now. And what a fantastic showing in their first game of the European Pro League.
And for the team that had to qualify through the ladder in the end, after heartbreak in the final week, where they were all but guaranteed to make it through, and Obey Alliance, the team that beat them to that secured third spot, they beat them in the first game after qualifying via the ladder. It's got to be a good feeling for Rdamage. They take the series 2-0. Let's just see how it happened, though, because we did see Exhibit before this one. Of course, they took that one 7-3, and again took Asylum 7-3. Comfortable victories all around.
Yep.
If you are Rdamage, and it's a positive sign to see for their fans.
It is indeed. I mean, the French team with a little bit of Spanish now. They showed up, and 7-3, 7-3. I predicted Rdamage, but I did not predict it to be this one-sided, and they just look very, very strong. I think that change up to bring Cougars in has done wonders for them, and I am really excited to see what they can bring in the coming weeks.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see them going up against other teams. Of course, we will, as said, have this completely covered here in the European Pro League. We're going to see everybody play everybody at this point. We've only got 4 teams, so we only see like 3 different matchups to a point. But we are going to see some interesting games. I'm going to enjoy how it develops over time as well. Our team's going to realize these veto processes where you are getting rid of certain maps. You say, oh, actually, if you're Obey in this instance, you go up against Rdamage next. You say, right, okay, well, Exhibit and Asylum
didn't work too well.
Didn't work out too well, or was it just on the day thing? It's this development over these sort of things in any sport. It does change over time. You do get used to playing these top tier players every single week. You get used to their gameplay. If you're Rdamage, though, you take every single positive out of that one. They were pretty. I don't want to say they were flawless because they weren't, but they were solid all round. A very, very solid performance, I would say. Yeah,
I don't think they'll have many issues with that, to be honest with you. First game in Pro League, only a couple of weeks. Well, 1 week in with this new roster. And taking already down the team that, let's go back, Obey, they knocked Rdamage out of that 3rd place spot in the very last qualifier.
Sweet revenge.
So it's revenge for Rdamage, and I think they just look like a fantastic team right now, and yeah, as I said, it's going to be super exciting. Going back to the maps and picks and bans and how that progresses over the course of this entire season, that is something that is definitely very interesting to me. I'm going to keep track of that myself and just kind of keep noting down which teams are switching. Because, teams obviously have their comfort picks, right? And after that, Exhibit, that was the first map that, Obey got to pick down in the whole of the Pro League. They went for Exhibit. So, yeah. You'd have thought, okay, this is probably one of their tendencies.
That's it. It's one of those age-old things in anything. If your map pick, you lose it, immediately you're at a massive disadvantage, especially in like a best-out-of-3 format, because you're automatically in such a bad spot.
Yep.
You're expected to go and win your map, you play the opponent's map, you probably lose it, and then you go and play the tiebreaker if you like. But you immediately, if you're first pick, you lose that first map.
Yeah.
Then you're going onto your opponent's pick. It's got to be a deflating feeling, unfortunately.
It's difficult, right?
Super, super difficult. But I think you're very, very right. The late addition in here for Rdamage and Cougars provided to be a positive payoff. We've seen him have a pretty good performance.
Yeah, definitely so. I mean, he really went off, especially on Exhibit. Not so much on Asylum there, but to be honest, he still had very, very strong plays all the way through. And yeah, you can't fault him. He was a player we rated highly in previous iterations, and He's a player that I still continue to rate, and I'm sure players both in Europe, North America, and Latin America will be watching and saying, okay, let's keep an eye on this guy. Let's see what he does.
I think if you were to look at Obey Alliance, is there anything there that you noticed in particular that you would like to point out on, or do you think it was just maybe they just got outplayed?
First series jitters. I mean, I've seen them play better.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they'll be the first to admit they've played better as well. And honestly, maybe underestimating Rdamage a little bit. They've gone in on that higher seed. We're giving them a higher seed because they qualified through those qualification tournaments, right? So maybe underestimating. Honestly, in terms of gameplay, it was just the cleanliness of it. It didn't feel as slick as Rdamage, and they were generally quite reactive. When they played on the front foot, they looked fantastic, but on the back foot, not so much. And that's where the better teams like Rdamage in this series, they played well on both.
Yeah.
They could defend well.
Yeah. Well, we do actually have EU's finest going up against Rated R very, very shortly, formerly Anoni. Any thoughts on that series? I think it's going to go one of two ways. It's either going to be a close like Anoni win, like a major upset, or EU's finest are just going to bulldoze through them. I think that's sort of my two sides of the coin on this one.
Let's flip that coin. I don't know right now. From what I've seen of Anoni, they look like the best challenger we've had in Europe for EU's finest in some time.
Yeah.
Like a long while. But that's EU's finest. They turn up, they come to tournaments, and we always say, they're not looking as great, or teams have been close to them. And then they go to the majors and come top 4 every single time, right? They're one of those teams that they just turn up when it matters, and they know how to play the game. They really do. They can shut teams down. They can shut Slayers down. And, Rated R, they've got some good Slayers on the team, but against a team like EU's finest who won't let them go off, like Obey just let some of the Slayers from Rdamage go off, it's a much more difficult task, and I think you're right. That is a coin flip, and we'll see in the next hour or two.
Yeah, we will see indeed. But anyway, Rdamage will take the very first game of the EU Pro League for Gears 5. Game number 2 coming up after this quick